Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Tridactyls. I'm your host, Mr. Ed, also the home of the constant companion theory. We were never alone. Lot to say. Lost the old man. Where would we be without him? His book, Chariots of the Gods, spawned the In Search of film series, narrated by Rod Sterling of The Twilight Zone, just to add some real gravitas to those sort of documentaries, which of course spawned the series, which Bigfoot film helped inspire my choice in an anthropology degree. Von Däniken, Chariots of the Gods. I read it. Compelling. Makes a strong case for ancient aliens, which how many people are investigating that sort of thing now? Entire series and conferences and conventions. So what did Mr. Von Däniken do for us? I think he allowed us to dream, to be hopeful. He made it okay to speculate, to think outside the box, to go against the grain. Wow. I wonder what the early years were like for him. What sort of pushback did he receive? I'm sure that requires some research. If you happen to have anything you'd like to add about Mr. Von Däniken, I see Giorgio and Billy Carson and Childress are posting their encounters. It's too bad I never got to see him. I know our compatriot Fat Jesus has, so I don't know if he's going to be showing up or not. What's in the news? Maria and Wawita, our official cultural heritage pieces. This could come with some restrictions, but what I understand is that it'll still be under Ika University's supervision to research and make various decisions on. That area is going to need a world-class museum, guys. I don't know if it's going to come from Peru or if the world can come together and build the greatest museum ever for these beings. A sort of modern pantheon of deities. Oof, there's going to have to be security on these too, especially with me talking mad smack about them. Mr. Von Däniken's gone, and I heard he really didn't even touch the mummies. Interesting. If you have something to say, feel free to write in the chat. What other Tridactyl news is there? There's, of course, been some videos out there, which I can't tell if it's just simple bias confirmation or a sort of planned astroturfing, because it's very strange how not everyone talks about these things, and a lot of them don't even address my own issues with them. We're going to have to add Mr. Fat Jesus to the stream. Welcome.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Sorry, I'm a little late right there.
That's okay. You have the con. Anything you'd like to say about Mr. Von Däniken?
Man, isn't that something? Rest in peace. That is, the last time I met and seen Rick Von Däniken was back in 2023, at the end of 2023, in Prague, Czechoslovakia.
Czech Republic.
Yeah, Czech Republic. And I made the trip. And it's funny because something told me deep inside to go and see him, like spend the money. I mean,
You
it was
did say, he's kind of old. You don't know how much longer he's going to be with us. So you made the right decision. Good for you, sir.
with complete respect to everybody out there. I don't know what it was, but it probably my late father was communicating through me inside, saying, "Go see him. Go see my friend before he leaves this earth, because he needs to talk to you. Communicate with him and all that stuff. You got to do it." And so I don't know. I don't know if it's an intuition. Maybe it's our ancestors. Maybe it's just the earth itself. I don't know. I don't know what it is that communicates through us to do things on this planet, but it just pushed me to go and do it. It wasn't fame. It wasn't greed. It wasn't like, I need to get my numbers up or my followers. No, it was none of that stuff. I had to go do it, and I went to Prague, and I tell you what, man, it was an amazing trip. It was
That
an
is so
incredible trip.
cool that you went. Yeah, it was a good decision, sir. You knew what you were doing. That was a good move. And I think that's also another example of, everyone has to go with their instincts on things. And if something's pulling you in a direction, well, maybe follow your heartstrings. And that's been part of my message today. And part of, even when I talked about Von Daniken, is we have to be careful in this world not to quash the dreams of others, to encourage hope, to encourage optimism. I mean, if there's any sort of woo in the power of manifestation, then think positive. If your friend is I'm going to go enter a beauty contest, don't say, you'll never win. Say good luck, whatever it is.
Break a leg.
I just think if break a leg, you have to go with the power of manifestation. And I think
Yeah.
Von Daniken gave people hope and optimism and a chance to look to the future and look to an alternative future, perhaps.
What's funny is that, somebody that is a scam artist, they're not in it for the long run. They just scam people and just move on.
Always. I know that too.
Yeah.
I know that too. I've done some, let's just say, costume activism. And I was able to keep a tenure and watch people fall to the wayside. So I'm well versed in, it's a little bit of the Tao too. It's bend with the wind, be flexible, and move forward.
And Mr. Van Daniken, he was very dedicated in this craft. Like, he stuck to it every day of his life, and he found a UFO, and he found alien bodies, but he didn't call them alien bodies. He called them ancient astronauts. He would call them beings. I mean, we would call them aliens. We would call all types of stuff.
He didn't even deal with didn't even touch the Tridactyls.
No. Well, he found them and he showed them, and the government came in and grabbed them and took them. And then all of a sudden he didn't have proof anymore. I mean, he was us. He was us, but back then in the 70s, in the 80s. But the government, once again, they're fake. They're dolls. They're not real. This thing right here, they're not going to be, the same old song and dance that we're going to see today. They were doing it to him back then, and he had to fight through it, and we have to fight through it too. I don't know why we have to fight through it, but it's something that they don't want us to know.
Fight? I want to temper this as a warning to people too. If you see people that, rather than talk about the science, the discovery, because isn't that what we're all here for? We're here for science, discovery, debate, discussion. new paradigms. And if someone is attempting to quash a conversation or suggesting we shouldn't talk or focus on a certain thing, it's very, very suspicious. Anyone who wants to sort of try their hands and pack things away, that's a strange thing to say. I mean, I see it happen even in social situations sometimes. People want to like put a kibosh to a conversation or something when they're not even involved in it or something. I don't know.
Or they want to be part of an event, like an ancient astronaut event, a massive one. And those are like our dear friend David we were talking to about,
The Stig Man?
yes, Stig and David Stig. We're talking about just remind me because now we're switching gears here. We're talking about the island, of that sank. You tell me.
Atlantis.
Atlantis, exactly. And I mean that's switching gears because we're going from ancient astronauts to Atlantis, and people would say, "Oh, this is all the same," but I mean it's vast. The knowledge and everything around us is vast.
I'm kind of at the stage where everything's related, whether it's Nessie or
If it's
Sasquatch
connected.
or something like that.
But we're looking at eons, thousands of years, and then people are just squashing. I mean, we're trying to come together as a family, connecting with each other, but then you have people in the background at these events, and then all of a sudden they go in as like agents trying to get information. Then in the background, days later, they just want to destroy everybody and destroy their ideas and say, this is a hoax. This is not true. Oh, this person is not, it's like instead of connecting and working with each other and talking with each other and saying his idea is a possibility. Instead, they go around behind each other's back and just say, "Oh, this is no good, but my idea is better than his idea." And it's like it's a fight for followers or a fight for ideas or something. I don't know what's going on out there, but
Yeah, I mean, I freely admit I want more people to see this stuff, but it's not because I'm selling a book I have a t-shirt store, but my goal isn't to sell t-shirts. So I'm just here to educate. If
yeah,
we've talked about grants before.
you got some cool
I like
t-shirts, man. What are you talking
I got
about?
some cool t-shirts,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
We got to sell those
So,
t-shirts. Yeah.
So someone sent me a message saying that they're someone speaking about me in the Discord group. I don't know. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find anything. I left the
It's
group.
crazy.
It's probably
I mean,
a
no,
comment in the past.
I got it. Sometimes I get frustrated with people that are trying to just cut us at the knees.
Thundercat, you want to come on the show?
Hey, what's up, Thundercat?
I'll send you an invite if you want. Oh my God. I'm glad you weren't in the Spaces group this week, Mr. Jesus.
Hey, I want to tell you guys something. Mr. Rick von Daniken was something to behold. When I was in Prague, I mean, I got there early in Prague. Like I like going to every place I go to meet with people that I revere, and I like to go early to the city and travel around the city and get to know the city first before
I'm sorry that I didn't do that trip with that. I didn't do anything fun on the last trip to Arizona. I was just
No, you did though.
Normally I would though.
You got on the self-driving car, didn't you?
No, but I'm with you. Normally I would probably want to spend more time in a place. I don't know. I'm on a mission lately. So it's like, what does what does this have to do with the mission, So people say
Arizona was amazing.
If I go to Ica, it's like, are you going to go to Machu Picchu? And it's like, that's a whole. You wanted to go to Machu Picchu, right? I'm like, it's a whole other thing.
But aren't you an anthropologist? I mean, you're not just there only for
I guess
three finger, three toe.
I guess it goes to show you I'm a bit single-minded there.
I mean,
hey,
when you think about
Thunder,
it,
I sent you a chat in the X.
Come on in,
X
Thunder.
chat.
I mean, as an anthropologist, there's always plan B. You could study the people of the town of Ica, you know, which would
Mm-hmm.
be really fascinating because how did they evolve in the plateau of Ica? Ica is like off of the plateau of the Nazca, where this is all desert, of course. Ica is like right now we would consider it a poor town
Oh
compared to
yeah.
us, but they don't really
Yeah.
consider themselves
Yeah.
as
They're gonna need
poor.
help for that. They're gonna need help for that world-class museum. And
Yeah.
I hope I can take part,
But
of
but if they were to compare themselves to everybody else, yeah, they consider themselves poor. But in reality, to each other in that little town, they're not poor. They're just
I
comparing
mean, if
themselves
you
to
see
Paris.
everyone's busy, everyone's getting their groceries. It's poor in relative terms compared to I live in Coral Springs,
Yeah,
so I mean, come to this
yeah,
town, people's got some monies.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they're trying to compare. If they trying to compare with apples to oranges, they're they're trying to compare themselves to Paris, France, to England, London, or to or to New York.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I
why
mean,
there's a saying: never compare yourself to others, or you'll become vain or bitter,
yeah.
bitter or vain.
And then tourists will also compare them as well because they go there and they'll start saying nasty things about them. It's like, oh, look at this place, oh, the way they show it, or look at the glass case, it doesn't even look professional, and they start saying bad things about them.
Just play music
And
for
that's
Todd.
another thing.
What an
Welcome, sir.
entrance.
Welcome. What a week, huh? What a week in Tridactyldom.
Welcome.
We've lost Von Doniken. We have
Yeah, man, rest in
skeptic
peace.
videos making the rounds. We have Maria and Wawita with official cultural heritage. Why don't we let you, sir, comment on that specific story?
I just have such enthusiasm.
Well, that's
So I
good.
so I think you could see it even with Gonzalo as well with his posts. So, he even posted about, the Incredible History Channel and their coverage and saying, hey, he knew ahead of time that they were going to post it. They're friends. There's no bad blood. And that, just talking about the tridactyls is what's needed. But I think what just rubs us wrong is when people try and tell us what to do, like either stop talking about tridactyls, stop posting about them, or that the case is closed,
Yeah.
right? And I sent you a video because it was like a year ago, and you wrote, I think it's worthy of a larger discussion. But there are people that have viewed the tridactyls and had unprecedented access in order to do, DNA or different analyses, and they came away with differences, professional differences, and differences of viewpoint and opinion. So there are those who are looking at these tridactyls as non-human, and then that's the direction that the science goes. And then there are those that view it as these are humans and they've been manipulated or altered, and then they get offended and mad. Similar to some of the coverage that we saw this week, is that the researchers or scientists just showed their bias and they saw some things that were anomalous. They couldn't completely make heads or tails of it, but to them it was a hoax, and then they were upset and angry. And
Yeah,
that kind
that's
of
what
emotional
I found
reaction is
suspicious. I'm very hyper aware to things like that, and if you notice, I started to go into that video and just pick every little word apart from Proctor, who just, it's funny, Knapp alluded to my Eurostyle concerns by talking about a tailbone. I noticed he kind of fumbled as he was sort of creating how he was going to ask it without, I guess, weighing the question. And Proctor's response, I think he meant to be dismissive, but instead he ends up saying, this looks like nothing in human evolution. It's, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So between that and when they ask him, can you see any evidence of cutting or not really? I can't really. I'm like, what kind of expert did you get here?
Yeah.
That's great. So like, I'm reminded of like the Star Trek transporter, and they like beamed the thumb out and then beamed it into the, I guess, where would the other thumbs come from? Because you would need 6 thumbs, wouldn't you? See,
they were looking for an excuse. I mean, the whole title was talking about hoax, so he was looking for something to call it a hoax for follows, and for it was like a click and bait, you know. It's like, I'm gonna try and find a way to hoax this completely, because I'm gonna
hoax the
say that
hoax.
everything is a hoax. But it's like, you're not even giving this a chance, you know. Maybe a few of these are not real, and then the majority of them are real. But no, it's like all of them are not real, you know. And now the university in Ica has over 120 specimens now. They've been collecting so many of them, and that's only them. Imagine how many they've been digging up beyond 120, like they've been selling on the market. And then how many of those
how
are
many have been
probably not
sold,
even
right?
real? How many
that's
are
true
not
too.
real?
Yeah, how many fake ones did they sell as real as well?
I've got an angle on this because I'm involved to a certain extent. And
true.
So I wanted to kind of maybe, have you guys ever heard of Manuel Caceres?
No.
So some of the lore, like there's so many stories within all of this continuum of tridactyls, and it is absolutely a mess. And I would just first I want to go back to what FJ was saying, the video that came out from Knapp and Corbell.
Yeah,
you could tell it was predetermined what the theme was and where they were going to rest their case, right?
Yeah, it was like a train that was kept a rolling.
It was on rails, and then they were just going to do this kind of like presentation. I felt that because of that format, it was actually really weak. So I don't know of how much energy you actually needed to spend in order to kind of argue the points. But I wasn't.
Well, I didn't even watch most of it. Honestly, it wasn't. I think somebody said something about yada yada. So I'm like, okay, let me go back and let's see, you know. And it's, you know, just yeah, it was worse. Worse than I thought. I didn't expect the Corbell Knapp angle. I guess that's the way they talk normally, but they were very much in TV kind of mode too. I'm like, oh my God, you guys aren't even speaking like a conversational language. What is this?
When dealing with this
I love how they set him up too. Like, you didn't go down there to debunk it. You're a perfectly neutral observer. Right?
Not neutral at all.
Here's a little ironic thing of be careful what you do. He was online in Peru saying, hey, they're having this meeting of the mummy. Should I go? And I'm here typing going, yes, you must go.
You don't sound triggered.
I sent him there. You know, I helped send him there. I was one of the people going, yes, you have to go. And then he goes, and now he works with Gonzo there, and ends up causing all this trouble, in my opinion, which I guess you could look at it the positive light. There's more.
But here's the thing. They focused mostly on the thumbs because the guy was a thumb expert. And then I'm like thinking, how about the rest of the body? And then they didn't even want to touch the DNA. You know, because they did tons of DNA. I mean, they sent the DNA out, and then the DNA, and then people want to hoax the DNA. It's like, if you want to find a problem, you're gonna find a problem, right? You know, if you want to find the hoax, you're gonna find a hoax. Okay, this is something wrong with it. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you guys want to seriously Google, you just Google, okay, between human DNA and primate DNA, how much DNA do we have between that and primate? And then you go and ask Google, how much tridactyl does have between primate DNA and tridactyls? And then it's going to tell you this is the percentage. And it's like, wow. And then it will tell you between the 8 that they already have sent the DNA in. And we're not talking about the other whole bunch of them they haven't even done yet, because there's so many they have to do scans on. And they're still doing studies, right?
So what is the DNA tell you at the end
Well,
then.
there is about they say there's 45% on some of them. There's 45% they have no idea what it is from. It's not from this earth, or it's so degraded that they can't figure out what it is. It's either or. But the point is that it's just there's a possibility that it doesn't exist, and that's a possibility. And here's another thing: there's no neutral ground. We're back to that again. And then we're just going to say, oh, well, let's just call it a hoax anyways. But none of us have been
Well,
born
what's even
back
the
then.
calling it a
That's
hoax
the
is
thing.
one thing. It's implying that people are part of some cadaver sales and butchery, which I find to be libelous slander. And I guess that's where I start to get a little ornery about it, where it's okay. We're not just talking
it has
about
roots. It has roots. So I was bringing up that Manuel Caceres guy because Manuel Caceres, there's a network that reaches out from Mario, right? The Leandro guy. And so that the Huaqueros, they've got this network and they're going to sell pillaged and robbed items and anything that they can find.
Yeah.
And to avoid the authorities, they have to do things, kind of in an interesting way. Manuel Caceres, he was on the news because he was sending the tiny bodies dressed in Ica doll clothes, and it got caught by customs. And he claimed to the authorities, oh, they're not even real. I made them with my son or my nephew.
Oh.
And I created them, and we do this kind of work. And
is one of the, let me ask you, are the dolls even dolls? Because one of them looks a little suspicious every time I look at it. At least it looks like one's a doll and one's maybe real.
Let's put a pin on that for a second. Elongated skulls. Human beings have always in the past have imitated gods or art or ancient astronauts. We're going back to Eric von Daniken and what he's always says. We always imitated the gods. So we would try and deform ourselves to look like them.
That's right.
And what are we doing today? We're making them out of dolls. We're carving them. We're still doing what we always have done for hundreds of years.
I want to know if Mr. Thunder here has any comment.
Regardless if we're making money or not off of it. We're still doing the same thing.
So the roots being,
I want to stick with the bodies.
It's not just slander. It's not just slander about the bodies being a hoax and faked. The reality is that the Huaqueros, the narrative goes like this, and even Manuel Caceres says this in an interview on YouTube. It's in Spanish, but you can translate it. And the heart of it is that some of them are real and some of them are fake.
Of course,
that's what Manuel Caceres says. So I'm not asserting that.
That's always the case, right?
Right. So now we've got the spectators, right? So now everybody comes in and we're looking at this information, and it's muddy because there's actual fakes in there, and that just supports what? The argument that the whole thing's a hoax. Now we've got real researchers that went down to Peru, studied these in earnest, and came away looking at stuff that was fake, and they are upset. And for them, the book is closed. They don't want to spend any more time or resources looking into it. And they feel, they don't even, if they were pulled into an interview, they wouldn't even want to talk about the subject. That's that closed for them. Now, for anybody else saying, case is closed, you're not allowed to do the research. I think for the rest of us, after seeing all of the great coverage from like Jesse Michaels and the rest, and even Joe Rogan, that we want to see more DNA studies. We want to see more in-depth research and allow this to go in that direction. But I think what we saw this week was people pumping the brakes and saying, no, we already figured out it's a hoax. Shut up, stop talking about it.
Let's analyze this for a second. And I want people to understand this very carefully. And before we move forward on this, we have to understand anthropologically. Okay, let's attack this anthropologically. And I know people don't want to hear this, or we don't want to hear this, but how does people in the United States feel about foreign people coming into this country? They want to get rid of them. And so foreign people in Peru, when they have foreign people come into Peru, how do you think they feel about foreign people coming in, touching all the stuff that belongs to them, their cultural artifacts? Now, we have the intention of we're here to do things that are earnest, and we're here to prove it and all that stuff. But how are they thinking, though? We have to put ourselves in their mindset. We have colonized them. We have attacked them. We have taken away their
Okay.
cultures throughout history, and that is
Let's
the
not go
truth,
too
though.
back time.
I know,
Let's be happy that the again,
but
my
we have
original
to put
question.
ourselves. We have to
Let
put
me go back
ourselves in their shoes and
to
how
the
they
original
treat
question,
foreigners.
and that's how do they treat Wawita and Maria? And I want to know what he thinks of that specifically.
Mhm. But I mean, I'm just trying to
Mr.
get.
Thunder.
I'm trying to get down to the bottom of how
Yeah,
they treat
I know, but
foreigners,
I don't
and
want to.
why do foreigners
I don't want to dredge up
leave that
the
country
conquista.
feeling
You
like
know,
they're not seeing the real deal? They
I
maybe
don't
they
want to. I
keep
don't
it
want
away
to feel
from them.
conquistador guilt.
It's quite something to be close to these artifacts, and if they are a hoax, they're so masterfully done because it is so impressive.
But we
That is
keep saying
absolutely
if it's a hoax, I don't think one person has explained to me how that works. I have
think
no
what it is-
clue. I haven't even heard a good imagination as to like.
No,
I hear things like taxidermy, which I know not that I've done it, but taxidermy is going to leave quite obvious evidence. So it just shows they don't know taxidermy. It shows their bioanthropologist doesn't know forensics. Did you hear how dismissive he was about the navel and the fingerprints? I'm like, oh, you're clearly not a forensic guy, are you? Oh my! And then just to be dismissive, very suspicious. Plus, the one radiologist was full on generational victimization happening right there. Like, my ancestors owe her ancestors an apology after that. I feel like. Very strange, very strange. So are you good with the Wawita and Maria status? Is that a good thing moving forward?
Obviously it is. And it has removed a barrier to the research that we're all looking forward to, because it's been absolutely held up just due to the legal framework surrounding them. So if anybody was interested, they had to come to ICA. And having been there, it's third world. It's not an easy place to do this work.
Right,
and to
right.
tell you,
There's going to need a lot of funding, or they're going to be moved.
We need grants from the university.
Some of the researchers went there to ICA earlier on, a few years ago, and they were keeping these artifacts in like a wooden cabinet. And when they needed it, open up, pull it out, and they're saying,
yeah, this has to be all environmental control. I think I mentioned I was talking to a company, and they probably ghosted me because I was alluding to this. They don't have any money. But wouldn't it be great if they would donate at least one environmental controlled case for their company? And their company gets attached to the tridactyl phenomenon. But that's where we're at. We're going to need, and I mentioned earlier, your sprinklers and security and and security. So yeah, good stuff. Do you want to add anything about Von Daniken too? That Jesus went and visited him in Czech.
That's why I'm even here.
That's right.
I watched the X-Files, I watched Twilight Zone, and I watched Ancient Aliens, and all of that together. Looking at every story and mythology, it all makes sense, and it's connected. It's why we care, right? So, but Eric,
and I say the tridactyls are the key to that grand lock.
It could be.
Some of the people.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a little lag on my side.
Some of the people that are coming in and just figuring out who Erik von Daniken is. He just passed away at 90 years of old age, and he paved the way for ancient astronauts. We're here because of him. None of us would be here today because without him, we would not know which way to go. So all his books, led to other people writing books. You know, Stitchin, all these people, they have written their books based
Yeah.
on
So what a day,
his
what a
research
week.
and traveling throughout South America, Central America, and everything like that. So
What
it's
a time we're
amazing.
living, huh? What a time to
Yeah.
be alive. I'm real happy with having my degree at this time. It put me in a fortunate spot to recognize some petroglyphs. Let's take a look at some quotes just to demonstrate that, you know, this sort of stuff has been talked about ad nauseum already. So from Dr. John McDowell, the specimens that we've examined, the specimens are real. There are some that are clearly not human. Of course, he says it way better because he has these wonderful pauses in them. No indications of forced removal of the metacarpal, metatarsal bones, and phalanges of the fingers were observed. Dr. Dmitry Galetsky, a medical doctor from St. Petersburg, Russia. Completely true, authentic, and not manipulated by anyone. Dr. David Ruiz Villa, Peruvian plastic surgeon. No evidence of any assembly or manipulation. Dr. Jose de Jesus Zausi Benitez. No spaces or steps being observed in the distal positions of the tarsal region by a supposed amputation by the late Dr. Edgar Hernandez Huaripacar, who we know, unfortunately, died in one of those horrible South American car accidents. My
Yeah,
God.
I researched that. I just wanted to know if somebody had it in for him or it was
It's the
just a
first
complete
right. Everyone's
accident.
first thought. It's like, what a way to begin the movie, though. You know, the movie.
Crazy.
I don't know when it's coming out, but the movie's going to come out in what, 10, 20 years, maybe? I don't know.
I
30
mean,
years?
he did the dental work on these Tridactyls.
Yeah, the
correct?
dentist turned out to be super important in all of this. The plastic surgeon is a surprise witness. So again, to hear other people look at the scans, but again, the terrifying thing for me, and I say terrifying because I say it feels less like bias confirmation and more like astroturfing. That is a willful, concentrated effort to bring a doubt to the tridactyl discovery. Because I notice a lot of people, a lot of talking heads just jumping right on board. Right now, I see Incredible History seems to be a bit disappointed with Ross Coulthart. I don't know why. Ross seems to be featuring him just fine. So I don't know if I'm watching some sort of like a WWE event happening here where we're going to build some opposition and then bring him on the show, and I'll show you. But I'm still suspicious. You know, there's this one account, Christian Rosenkrantz. I don't know who they are. They're constantly calling out these people. They call them disinformation agents. And they put these little dossiers up and everything. It's pretty wild. But I wasn't really a big conspiracy theorist. But then when I saw the Corbell Knapp show appear, I'm like, oh, come on. And then when you actually watch the angle of the show, it's like, oh, come on. And so it just seems like, what is happening here? And if I see Jesse Michaels flip, or if I see Project Unity flip, I'm just going to be like, okay, this is like the movie They Live or something, you know?
I love that movie. I've got a question, though. Knapp and Corbell, are they new to this tridactyl space? Is this their first attempt at coverage? And
I think it might be one of their first attempts at coverage.
Okay, so I've got something other than a claim that, you know, there's astroturfing or a conspiracy against it. This could be an algorithm thing, which is content mining, and they look at what's trending, and all they got to do is pick an opposing viewpoint. It doesn't even have to be super solid.
Negative.
What it does, it gets them the views.
And
then
got me wild up, huh?
And that's exactly what that type of frequency does. And you see it all over with any type of topic. If there's a topic trending, somebody just comes out with some sort of
we should be thanking them, huh?
I think
what it is?
Views. That's what
I don't know.
Gonzalo was
Will
saying
is
as
thanking
well.
Giorgio for saying that they're telling him that they're fake. I mean, this is bizarro world. Isn't that?
Who said that?
Incredible History. Will is thanking Giorgio.
Because they're on the same alignment, right? They're on the same alignment. You know, it's just really interesting. But I'm not seeing.
Did you see their chats
connecting?
Did you see their chats in their videos? It's like people are saying, now we know who you guys are working for. You
Well, they
know,
got cooked in the chats. There are people who
yeah.
are saying they are weaponized fans, and they're saying like, "This is the worst episode ever." And again, we
Yeah.
can say I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I try to hold off on saying conspiracy until that video. And then when I read the videos, I'm like, oh, everyone else is thinking the same thing.
It was low quality, as you know, in comparison to their other content. So I really feel like this was just to get some views and keep some content flowing. And even looking at the panel, they didn't have any of the experts that mattered.
None.
But it really going with the trend of Google though. When you Google tridactyls, it automatically goes to the negative of tridactyls. So
Yeah, the Reuters usually comes
what
up.
you're saying is true. It's absolutely true that they're going with the algorithm because they're aiming for that, and that's how they're getting content. And maybe we're doing it all wrong, huh, Professor Ed Casa? Maybe we're doing it all wrong.
I don't know. You can. I'm doing
maybe you need to go after the
way.
whole, or maybe that's the failure that you're facing. Maybe you're
The
rooting for
reality
them.
is stranger than all their stories. It's I don't need to make up anything. It's just if my real stuff isn't clickbait, I don't know what to tell you. I guess I can up the ante on my thumbnails. I can make my thumbnails more interesting, right?
If horses were popular, maybe you need to start riding a horse into the stream,
Gotcha.
So they are selling these bodies. We know
Right.
that. The Huacaros are. And
definitely.
They can go from 20,000 up to 50,000, and they'll cut deals. But
the sad part is that they're selling fakes.
And if you talk to the Peruvians who are in the loop, even the locals there who are in the loop and know everybody go, oh yeah, but those are the fake ones.
It ruins the whole movement. And people are trying to make a buck, but these people are poor and they trying to put food on the table.
Help me. I'm still trying to understand the whole social psychological stuff about this without, again, being conspiratorial.
You already know anthropologically.
If this is all sincere, I'm still confused. Why aren't they having any of these other key witnesses, or why aren't they talking about any other elements of the find?
They have the clout to be able to do any of that. And what we saw was they pulled together some doctors that we'd never heard of that have really poor backgrounds in this subject matter. And I was kind of embarrassed for them because during the discussion, as they tried to get deeper, they had no knowledge. And then it just became wild conjecture. And then it kind of, in my opinion, their entire discussion kind of fell apart. It was a house of cards. So I just said I was disappointed with the content itself, not their take on it. They could disagree, but it was just poor quality.
I think you have to disagree better. Okay. Well, what else could we talk about then? We've got Von Daniken down. Fat Jesus, I think you wanted to. Can you cover something without dredging up racial ethnic genocide? I would appreciate it.
Well, I'm always aiming for the anthropological part of what's going on in South America.
Stick with the PG friendly one.
The happy part. Oh my gosh, how can I aim for that with everything that's going on around the world? I think they're aiming more for the part for tourism in Ica, Peru. That is the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing is that the Peruvian government wants more tourism, and that's the big holdup right now in Ica, with them stopping tourists from going over there, and they want a better. I guess they want people to have a better showmanship with the tridactyls. Now, the Peruvian government are saying, oh, here's fake, and then they're saying, oh, they're real. I don't know what's the deal with the Peruvian government, but at one point they're saying, oh, they're real, but then they're saying, oh, these are fake.
Even the skeptics will do that. Even the skeptics sort of flip flop at times. It's hard to what are you suggesting at this stage? So yeah, but basically, what do
you think is going on over there? Since you were down there, how did you feel the Peruvian government what was your take, and how did you feel about the Peruvian government overall? How did they how did they treat you as a tourist
Oh,
when you
well,
were trying to?
I didn't have a direct connection with the Peruvian government. I felt like Peru is hopping, and there's so much money pouring into that country.
Mhm.
I don't see them staying third world for very long. They've
That's
got
good news.
they've got so much going on. It's very positive, and almost everybody spoke English and well.
Yeah,
Um, so I was happy with the amenities. Now I've been to Brazil as well, and I just felt like some parts of Brazil were rough, and I was
Not
all
bad.
over Peru, and I just loved it. I can't wait to go back.
I've
What a
been there
nice,
But
too. Yeah,
nice
I
thing to
lived
say.
in Iquitos, and I traveled into the Amazon rainforest. I lived in the Amazon rainforest, deep into the Amazon rainforest. Travel all the way east into the Brazilian jungle. Oh, not Brazilian jungle, but Peruvian jungle, up in the unknown areas, and lived with the what you call headhunters. So this was a tribe, and I couldn't. Nobody could go back there unless you
where they
knew
shrink
somebody.
the heads,
Well, no,
Why would you do that?
these guys didn't
Why would
shrink
you
there.
want smaller ones by any chance?
These were like these were indigenous people
I
that
don't know if you've
lived
heard me say
into the
that, but
jungles. Hmm.
if this could have been a cultural complex that swept across Southeast Asia and Oceania and spawning ball games and other beliefs of
Well, they
what
had
is
a
this,
shaman.
leaving primates behind, wondering what was the importance of that head. So check it out. We've got Montserrat here.
They had a medicine man. So
Cool.
it was
This is
really really
Montserrat.
cool.
It's very hard for me to find Raphael. I sure find a hell of a lot of other weird stuff, though. So I feel like there's going to be other investigations. I don't know if this is supposed to be Raphael here. We can look at the various possibilities.
But you know what? With my travels back then, about this is over 20 years ago, they believed in the gods. Like they believed in UFOs. They believed in they would say it too. They believed in these beings. And the ones that we're looking at, tridactyls, they would draw them in like they would draw them, and you could see the likeness of tridactyls. But we didn't know anything about tridactyls. They didn't have tridactyls, but way back then they would draw them like they were real.
Yeah, they would call me ant people. So I was thinking that this was a skull, but
This is in Peru.
now it might just be, I don't know, another larval form, I think. So yeah, there was another
You,
strange thing
and you
here.
have the MRI scans, don't you?
Yeah, we're looking at that right now.
Yeah,
This
so
is my
you have the actual MRI scan. You're moving around into the body, the 3D form right
Oh, you're
now.
talking for the people. Like this here, is this is that pareidolia, or was there something there?
I mean, for the rest of us are untrained eyes is pareidolia. But for
Well, I mean,
you,
what do
you're a
you see?
professional.
Since I'm literally seeing a face, it could very well be pareidolia. I'm still well aware that there is optical illusions,
Oh yeah.
but
And you're the expert of pareidolia because you're the one writing your book on it too.
and they suggest that she's holding her stomach, but I don't see any sort of evidence of a child there at all. I see masses on the side. So I don't know, and we can look at it from a different angle. But I've been doing some interviews today myself. And what do we have here? Is this a rib cage?
yeah, that
So
looks
I've been
promising. Even the orb above it, is that the head of the fetus?
where? Here?
More to the left,
Here.
up above.
Here.
This thing, yeah, it's like a balloon. So
Here.
if you go in and out, you'll see
Yes.
it.
I see. Yep. Here we go. Is that whole thing a head, perhaps? Well, we can play with the
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Oh wow, that does look like a head.
And that type of structure doesn't exist on the other side,
See,
right?
but I'm more interested in this stuff here.
Oh, do you want to go to the other side and see if that structure exists, or does it just exist on this side?
Oh, on the other,
If you
flip
go,
the.
if you go around,
You
can you see that head?
know what? It's probably better if we're gonna have some fun with this to open the 3D one, and we'll just fit the volume here so we can sort of start over. And what style were we just looking at? What were we got? I don't know which one to use. This is the
fine.
soft tissue, but I don't know if that'll help us actually.
I would.
So,
I wouldn't
ask,
even know where to start. Look at you, man.
well, so again, they suggest that she's holding her side where maybe a child would be. Oh well, maybe that one hand is pretty far over on the side, isn't really in the middle.
Wow,
this
look at
hand's
that.
in the middle.
Doesn't that look like a head then? Oh no, that's a bone. Okay.
Yeah, the pareidolia is real, especially when I'm looking for little things. When I look for the soft tissue, it's a half a millimeter, whatever that's called.
We're just looking at the bone structure in this one.
Yeah, we're looking at the bone structure, but we're gonna give it some flesh here, and so I can cut in with this, and we're gonna remove the legs. We're gonna go back actually to
That's cool.
just where we were, but
you see how he can manipulate this? Can you imagine somebody manipulating and calling it a hoax?
Oh, yeah. Well, they say that this is a real body is part of their.
No, I meant the scan.
Argument.
Like you can move it around. You could just make.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You can make it look like.
There are people still like that for sure.
I mean, Ed, you talked to Casper Site, right?
I did.
So Casper Site, I haven't heard him cover the Tridactyls in a while. But what's interesting is, of all the content, if you look into the chats and the people that really hate on Tridactyls, they claim that Jaime Maussan, from Mexico,
right,
is not to be trusted, and he's a liar, and all this stuff about the Tridactyls. And yet, he's also tied to the Boogosphere, which is, I want to say, being treated as like some of the most credible UAP phenomena. And even Stephen Greer is saying, that he thinks it's real.
Yeah.
And so people are taking bets all across the board. But it's just interesting how they rationalize, where they're putting their attention, what they say is real, and who's important and who isn't. And Jaime Maussan is both in the Tridactyl space and in the Boogosphere space.
The Boogosphere, it bothers me so much. The Boogosphere with the design, like if I was truly an alien race, I mean,
you got to consult with them though.
We carve things perfectly with lasers, don't we? You know how we carve designs and stuff like that with lasers and stuff like that. We make it look
comparison,
so perfect.
Though.
I mean, I want to compare it with our artistry. Our artistry with
maybe they think that's beautiful.
Maybe so, but I mean, it looks like a child made that Boogosphere. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like the drawings on the side and stuff like that looks very jagged. Well, but then again, just to pull back, because I watched the movie at one time, and sometimes we get our inspiration from movies. Movies are drawn by imagination and thought. You know how movies are made, right? Movies are from other people's imagination because they don't really come from reality, and sometimes they do come from reality. They come from dreams. But there's a movie where that the information from frequency it traveled, and then they said, oh look, I found some more of the information in this frequency, and it has more. It's mathematical. Instead of they when they first found it, they saw this one design, and then all of a sudden they found even more in the other design. Maybe the Boogosphere the design has more mathematical to it than
What do you guys
than
think
what
of
it looks
that
like.
little guy? Let's see. I wish I could draw on the screen. You guys see the face here? Here's one
That's kind of
eye.
spooky. That's spooky, Ed.
Yeah, these are all over the bodies. They're everywhere. They're ontological shock.
You pull back a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes even when you pull back, it becomes even more clear.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I'm as much as I try to find Raphael, I have trouble finding him. But I can find a bunch of larval forms for you. Those are all over the place. So it's very weird for me, like to look for like why isn't it that easy for me to find him? Maybe it's just my setting because I have it on this soft tissue setting, right? So all the bones.
So the
all the bones
hypothetical
show up,
theory
yeah.
is that their bodies were eaten away by larva forms towards the end of their life cycle.
Well, yeah, they may have actually lived with these because, again, Alberto, all these implants in Artemis down her stomach may have been to extract such things. And Alberto's inner ear capsule. Going back, screw the skeptics, of course. Why aren't they touching the little bodies? And let's talk about furcula. Let's talk about gastrella. Let's talk about parietal-pedial complexes. Let's talk about tubular hearts, right? Let's talk about urostyles. Let's talk about all these things. So let's talk about rostrum beaks. Let's talk about metamorphosis.
But Ed, they found an anomalous finger bone, and now they're just going to shut the book. It's done for them.
It's shut the books.
No,
even though it's a totally different specimen,
finger bone, no way.
Arguably a different species, right? That's a good argument. So you're going to throw out the other species because you think this species is fake.
What was clear in their language that they were talking about humans the entire time that they were looking at the scans. Even in their language, it was, this is a human body, and
what
these
did
are
you do
should have fit that way.
So the meme should be like, let's shut down the university because the library just wasn't good enough for us. And I mean, every meme should now be like, we should shut down the police department because one police officer just didn't meet the requirements.
Well, the shaming too, the shaming being because they claim that these are a hoax and these are manipulated, bodies, that anybody interested in the Tridactyls are sick people, and they're just the worst. And
that's what they
demonize it. And
oh my God!
Yeah. How about
now you're a crazy person. Now you're a crazy person. If you believe in Tridactyls, that's what they're making people think.
How about Knapp creating this whole narrative about they're going to improve them and make them better? They've got whole warehouses of them. What are you talking about? He's just like riffing.
Ed, that's one angle, and I have to appreciate where everybody is in this.
Look at that.
Totally. So I don't get offended at all by hearing that thought pattern. I was talking to somebody in Peru, boots on the ground, familiar with this for years, and even he is curious but skeptical. And I said, but these guys, you even know this Mario guy. But yeah. And he teases him, and he's asked Mario, hey, wow, so I want to know who the artist is. Who's the artist that's making these? And Mario would just go, geez, they just appear. They just appear, they show up.
It's just very impressive. They got nothing better to do but to make bodies. That's all. That's what people are alluding to.
So having met many of them,
they don't have money, but they have money for this.
So they're great weavers in Peru, right?
Sure.
They're great weavers. But the claim that there's expert taxidermists that are using ancient techniques in order to be able to achieve this and accomplish it, well, then my counter argument would be, then bring that evidence rather than a panel of speculators. So if your argument is that taxidermists did this, then bring that to bear and prove it. Don't just make the empty claim.
Why leave it? Why talk about it and just leave it and say, oh, this is why it's a hoax? and this is why, and then not research the rest of it and just leave that wide open. It's like we're gonna leave that wide open for all of you guys to decide on your own. And
Can
then
we talk about skin for a minute? Because we look at a lot of different features,
clothes,
but I
right?
don't think we talk enough about skin. So on the tridactyls themselves, one of the claims has been that they're made from animal skins like Peruvian dogs, and that the claim that they're somehow amphibious skin or reptile skin is false. It's just like dog skin. If that's true, how could that be tested? Is it possible to do DNA on ancient skin, or
Yeah, I mean, when they're doing the DNA,
yeah.
it's getting hits on known species. So I mean, that should you would think that would probably come up, right? No?
Yeah, they did.
I'm not a DNA expert myself. I can tell you this, that I found cross-hatching patterns throughout archaeological record that seem to allude to reptilian beings or serpentine beings. And then when they release the close-ups of the skin, which I'll try to find for you.
Okay, so
it turns out the skin does have a cross-hatching rhomboid pattern on it.
Now the question you need to ask yourself, why are they trying to take your attention to that skin being a dog and away from them being aquatic? Why are they doing that?
So check it out, guys. We got some fun stuff here. So here are some close-ups of the tridactyl skin. And you can see over here is that cross-hatching rhomboid-like pattern. Of course, the perpendicular non-world fingerprints. I don't really push that too much myself.
I guess we need to get dog skin to
I guess feel like
to compare.
We're working backwards then. Yeah. So I don't know what these scoots are. This could be
imperfections.
Yeah,
old age?
I don't know, actually. I'm not even going to try to guess on that one.
I mean, they're not going to be perfect. It's not a skin suit. it's not like they're wearing it, you know.
Yeah, and I've seen videos of like the Ankari Institute and other researchers. They've taken, for example, all of the diatomaceous earth off of the little ones, and then they went in with like tools to look for seams, cuts, anywhere where this could have been manufactured, and it was seamless. That's what was on the video that I saw, and that's what the claims are across the board. But yet we still hear the naysayers saying these were constructions, and even taxidermists have to fold and stretch and compress.
I'm familiar with taxidermy. It happened at the museum all the time.
Yes.
And it reminds me too, when these people, critique Rubbermaids and whatnot, they don't know the reality of a museum where you may have a head in a plastic bag in a cardboard box. That is just the truth of it. Native American remains in cardboard boxes. How many museums have things just packed away? So just another sort of ad hominem. I want to warn people about that moving forward, is that if anyone's talking about something other than the science of the tridactyls, backgrounds, the way things were done, critiques on this is science, this is not science sort of thing, those are all red flags. Everyone should just be sticking to the facts. Here's the facts right here. This is a very interesting pattern on the Longyu Cave in China, compared next to the tridactyl skin, the tridactyl fingerprint. How interesting. Are they trying to imply
that is really cool.
That's the cave wall? So are they implying that this was the fingerprints of the gods? And now here I suggest we might even be able to find a piece of ceramic in Florida or Georgia that might actually be an impression of tridactyl skin, because it is known that these impressions are made many times, suspected some sort of fabric may have been used. So I might be able to find out there in a museum, local Florida museum. I got to go to Pose. a tridactyl skin impression. Of course, we're going to see the emulations. We know that, right? There's going to be the natural skull heads that are born, and then there's going to be emulations. So again, here's that cross-hatching rhomboid pattern, diamond pattern.
Yeah.
That's also important. That's your, and when I bring up that diamond, I am suggesting that this is the impetus to human symbolism, the diamond. We are just, but I suggest primate following a cargo cult.
At the event
This was
in Phoenix, Arizona,
this was a Florida museum.
We talked about the Anunnaki, and we talked about cloning and all that stuff. We played around with that thought about the resemblance of what's made in clay and how human beings created the similarity between what they saw in and what is actuality.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to go by, is what we have left behind in history.
Yeah, and this here was Miami Museum.
What were you going to say?
I did. Yeah, I just went on ChatGPT and just posed the question on there too, just to get some quick research done. So non-human life forms with straight and parallel ridge patterns for prints: lizards and geckos.
Wow.
Well, that was easy. All right, everybody go home.
Okay, let's go.
But
Thanks for watching.
My question now is like,
have a nice day.
Yeah. So getting close to Maria, right? The hands are enormous, but the prints can be seen with the naked eye, like right across. I took pictures of it, and I'm thinking to myself, I've never seen a lizard that big, right? Or that close. But then if like
Komodo dragon,
but just have the discussion with like naysayers or skeptics claiming that, oh no, this is a taxidermist did this. Well, then that could be easily solved. Get the right tools together. Look at the
either reenact the experiment, or maybe get a taxidermist. Maybe he can tell you.
But here's the thing:
or a mortician. Where's the morticians in all of this?
Now they're saying that it's a dog, but easily they could have got a caiman.
See, here's the problem, guys.
A reptile, and put a
we're
reptile
addressing a
skin on
negative. You're addressing a negative of a dog. There is no dog sin. Let's address the positive and take a look at this ceramic pattern. Does it not look somewhat similar to the pattern that they suggest is fabric on the jaw? Yeah.
He has me on a leash today.
So Maria on her jaw, people are suggesting, oh, it looks like some sort of tape was on there. And I said immediately, I'm like, well, it looks like cross-hatching. It looks like tridactyl skin. And of course, they didn't want to hear that, right? They think I'm like moving the goalpost or something. I'm not moving the goalpost. I've suggested this for some time. So anyway, here's another close-up of, this is just close-up of the ceramic. And there's the fingerprint again. That's nice to see.
Everybody, Professor Ed Casa is a fountain of information, because he has tons of information that he hasn't even talked about in the streams. So you got to understand that what you're going to hear today is going to be stuff that you never heard before, and it's going to be even more and more and more information. And it's from his background in archaeology.
Well, there is some truth to that, because I do talk about things that other researchers don't speak about. Do you guys have a particular specimen or a area of the body you would like to look at?
This is very interesting. The head right there, and people have been talking about the elongating the head, and it's almost in every stream. Have you been seeing those streams? Like, people have been elongating their heads, and then they even saying hoax too on that. Have you seen that? I've been in the algorithm when you type in elongated head, and then people are actually typing in. When you type in that, the people are titling hoax of elongated head. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why is the algorithm doing that? Everybody's doing the hoax thing like it's popular.
And
that's
but is it true that the head binding method that doesn't increase the cranial volume, right? But on these specific ones, it is elongated, and there's an increased cranial.
Exactly. I
Right,
know
so
where
if
you're
you're
I've
going.
heard
I
this,
know
of
where you're
course, the
going.
arguing with
And
this. Yeah.
that is a good direction right there. Thank you. Thank you. The head is actually larger, much larger. And when they
Volume.
do head binding, the head is not larger. It's just reshaped and it stays the same. The head does not get larger when they do head binding. When human beings do head binding or do anything surgical, even today, they do not they don't add. Nothing is added. Nothing is added to the body. It's just reshaped to look like it's just an illusion. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and there's other things too. There's a tribe of Naga people, Nagaland, who will put tattoos of cross hatching on their chest.
Unless
They'll
you're fat like me, fat Jesus.
they'll they'll do tattoos of the temporal bones and the supraorbital arch. Literally tattoo a tridactyl face onto their face. Meanwhile, another tribe, the women of Southeast Asia, will practice neck extending. And they
What
say
is
they
this
do
that we're
that to
looking at?
emulate the dragon mother. The
Is
dragon
this-
mother.
What is this? What you're looking at on the screen? I can't even
Looks like a
tell.
close up, some soft tissue. I'm guessing it's probably
What part of the body?
Well,
Looks like an upside down ego.
I've on this is actually the skull. I was focusing on this soft tissue, possible tridactyl larva gnawing there.
Look at.
But yeah,
at
the skulls are very active, more active than they probably should be for a skull. There's a lot to it. You have this on the soft tissue setting.
That's another thing. How, for thousands of years, how could we get that much detail from a skull? If
Well, keep in mind too, my whole larva theory isn't noted. Any other researchers. So, and skeptics don't even touch my stuff for some reason either. Much it seems, which is kind of funny. I don't know what that means. I don't know, because I'm just focused on the little ones mostly.
And this is the other problem with looters looting the location. We don't have professional archaeologists that are starting from beginning to end that will say, okay, this is how they were preserved. This is how they came out of the ground. Instead, the looters are in there with crowbars.
Yeah, it's a problem.
All this stuff.
And it's unfortunate. And oddly, though,
know.
And skeptics bring that up, and they were stolen. And it's like, okay, yeah, but if someone brings you a collection from their grandmother's, artifact collection, you're not going to ask if it was stolen necessarily. It's
so the Inkari Institute covered that in depth in their documentary, because every time they would go out into Nazca or these other areas to do research, they would find raided graves, and the Nazca graves are just being pillaged. But on top of that, even the municipalities are driving trucks through and just bulldozing areas and throwing all of the graves off to the side.
Oh my God. So you can just help yourself at that point.
And so he was reporting that to the Ministry of Culture. And guess what happened? Nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. The municipality, like the government themselves, like the towns, are throwing the graveyards around.
That's a problem.
If the looters don't go after it, the municipality is going to destroy them anyways.
Somebody wants to build a road, they'll just go and do it, because that's the easier way to do it. It's cheaper because the fines that are imposed are cheaper sometimes than
pay off the locals.
Right? So then you just go and you make the road, you build the building, you do what you need to do, and you pay the price later. And it all works out for them. But I think that anybody who's offended or upset about what's going on with the preservation of that history, they got to know that even the local government, even their government, the Peruvian one, doesn't enforce the laws.
You hear that?
I think that's systemic.
So the government themselves, not the main government, like the country government, like the federal government of Peru. We're talking about the city, the township.
Both, that
destroy.
it's part of the culture, and it's
Really?
built in. There's
That's
just
going to
not
be a hard thing to fight, is a cultural thing. That's always tough. I don't know how that would happen.
And they're deep rooted in the Catholicism, so anything that changes their religious beliefs is basically they're going to shoot it off to the wayside.
Well, didn't already they had local children and whatnot celebrating these things? I mean,
but it's not part of the Bible. It's not part of their religious beliefs. Why would they want to celebrate that in their culture?
well,
that's the question we need to ask.
Who knows what they're going to find underneath Sacsayhuaman or underneath Machu Picchu?
You guys looking at these images?
Yeah,
like 90% of Peru is Catholic.
Give us some context, Ed. I see white.
So yeah, if we hit the white, I can see in my lower left-hand corner. Wonder how I can make that so you can see that more. I want you guys to see the numbers
here in the values. That the darker it is, it's more dense, and the whiter.
Yeah,
it is.
if you see, there's actually I know it is. Your chat's blocking it. Your last chat. Let me turn that off. In the lower left-hand corner, measures the density of something. So I'm going to read it to you. So as I'm over this very intense white spot here, it's coming up 1,622 for bone. I've seen it as high as 2,200. I don't know the full range of numbers off the top of my head. I know that's going to be very high. And I know that if this is air, this is going to be negative. So negative 867, this is saying, right? So we got the white of the bone, black of space. And over here to my suspected eyes, I'm also getting a negative number because those eyes are voids. But yet we also have what I suggest is in between the eyes, of course, some sort of a skull. And now we're getting a number of 596. So that's nice. That makes sense. We have something that's not quite as hard as the bone, right? We might even get a higher number. Yeah, as I move down, the beak probably gets higher. Center of the skull, 833. Blurry. So yeah, everything's blurry because let's go ahead and measure this guy while we're here too. So we can, whoa.
So we're in the abdomen slice, right?
I think I'm still in the skull.
Okay.
Okay, in the node, we're in S, abdomen, IMM.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Let's see if that's true then. I could have moved around too much. What is that saying? 5.5.
It says that on the left side.
All right. Yeah, see, that's not the abdomen. This is the skull.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking at the highlighted in your node window.
So I suggest that's one there. And now we have other black voids here, right? Coming up a negative number. I move over to the center.
It's probably because he started off at the abdomen and then now he moved over to the head. It doesn't follow where his movements are.
Oh, the abdomen might be the name of the whole.
Is it?
This might be an entire. So very strange, right? And I like to use the skull as an example. Like this might be very much a close-up, hyper-realistic view of these larvae. I like to use the skull as an example because there really shouldn't be too much in the skull. A brain, which, like,
can you zoom out real quick so everybody can see that it's not the abdomen?
Yeah,
there it is. Okay, because we're underneath. Okay, that's the skull. The abdomen would be lower down below.
And then when you do have doubts too, you can always move over to another scan. And by the way, remember everyone, Maria is available. So anyone can be doing this right now. This is Slicer 3D. This is a free program, believe it or not. All right, now we're back in the skull. Oh my God, it's getting weird. Jesus, what the hell?
I mean, I'm not a taxidermist, but this is very complicated.
Something else I'm interested in is the ear canals. So
yeah,
that's of interest because, it's very obvious that Maria has no ears, no human ears,
Right.
but there's
Right.
the little orifices, and it looked natural to me with just just looking at it. There's not a ton of diatomaceous earth on there. It was pretty easy to see. So I've got, I shared the photos, but I would want to compare the differences, if any, to a human ear canal.
Where would their ear be located? Is it located on the top of their head like a
Well,
porpoise?
I'm going to sort of
Or
pivot
is
a
it-
little bit because I did look for. I wasn't completely satisfied with evidence.
where do certain animals have ears?
So
Or
let's go
on a
ahead. I'm going to go ahead since you asked. Right, I'm going to close this, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to open. I think you want Josephina or Louisa. Do you guys have a preference?
let's go
They're
with
part of the they're
Josephina.
part of the same family, right?
Right.
La Familia.
So which one, Javier?
Josephina.
Josephina. So Josephina is theoretically the holotype specimen 1, if you will. And hopefully
We're gonna look for the ear canal.
Yep.
If there is an ear canal.
Well, I'd be interested in Maria's as well. So that's
Well, I want you to, I think maybe it'll just be easier then to see it on this. And now you can look
Yeah.
for a similar but
Mhm.
reduced version.
Now this is
Of-
this so-called people claim as the fake doll.
These are the fake dolls.
Yeah, supposedly this is the fake doll.
The things I've been, studying for 3 years.
Whitley Strieber is very into the tridactyls, and
He is.
he said that these smaller ones, they match his insights into there's the concept of drones, right? That
Oh.
Yeah.
the larger beings have these smaller drones that do their bidding. They're almost like little minions.
And do you know what I think? I think that was even a mythological illusion that was believed and perpetrated by the ancients, because you'll see these human gods, and then below them there'll be these tiny supporter beings, or they'll be flanked by smaller beings, and it gives the illusion that the taller, beautiful human god. But if you think about it, the hybrids are coming afterwards. The hybrids are the intermediaries between the gods and the humans. So these beings might be perfectly fine, capable of telling the hybrids what to do, in my opinion.
Can I ask a question?
But then again, it is Whitley Strieber, right?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Has any human being throughout all of history ever touched a god or touched an angel?
Anybody who touched Victoria, I think, touched
No. Or touched an angel. No, throughout all of history, before Tridactyls ever came around. In all of history, were they ever allowed to touch Thor or touch Zeus or
Probably.
touch any mythological gods?
I think the
in any
ancient King
form?
Solomon had interactions with demons, and he could summon them, and they would be able
Dig
to do
for
all
him.
kinds of. They dig for him, or
Yeah,
tell him about.
I was
tell him
wondering
about
if
treasure buried.
the Ring of Solomon might be one of these things.
What I'm trying to allude to is that these little creatures have the ability to not transform, but to project an illusion that they're large and that they look human or something like that. And then nobody could touch them because
maybe
they
can
were too afraid
communicate
to
with
touch 'em.
primates. Maybe we're programmed in a way to, maybe some of us are programmed to not believe this stuff. Okay, guys, so look, we're moving into the otic capsules. They're always a little confusing because, in my opinion, they draw the larva to it. So it's sometimes
Where's the ears for this?
hard to see what is what. So again, no ears, right? It would be.
Well, no, I mean, what would you consider an ear? Would the ears be on the top, on the bottom, in the face,
Okay,
in the nose area?
Let's look at a different view.
Maybe
then.
we're trying to look for human ears, but what if they're not human?
Let's get you something else here then.
maybe ears don't exist on the sides for them. Maybe ears exist in a certain portion of their body. Maybe they're in the backside of their head.
I think it's here. Let's see. It's easier. Let's, you know what we'll do? We'll cut them in half, and we'll take a look from the other side to make sure we're on the right path here. Whoa, too fast, too much. Oh, there we go. See, nice. That's a nice view. Look at that. Look at that beauty. So that's the otic capsule of the small ones, which I suggest this might be something close to amphibian, or even more so a cetacean whale-like ear bone. I think if you're looking for a fossil record of these things, that might be something that survived. So now, where does that?
That would be located right underneath the eye.
Where does that leave us?
Look where the eye is, underneath the eye, in the corner of the eye.
Sorry, guys. I killed everything. I killed the fun. Oh, I literally did.
I followed the bone towards
there we are.
Bottom right corner of the eye.
What happened? I somehow really screwed us up because I can't even. All right. Well, sorry. What were we looking at? They were looking at the otic capsules. We can still check it out from a different angle, but sometimes the 3D glitches out on me. If have you guys got into the scans yet?
No, I haven't touched the scans. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm not an expert at it.
I did.
I didn't go to school
Maria,
for it.
And I've got 3D Slicer, but I'm not as adept as you are, Ed. And so
it takes a while. I was thinking it'd be fun if it would be possible to do like a show, a stream, and have everybody on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I've got 3D Slicer.
We could all like do it together and just do like a little search. You know.
That's like a scavenger hunt, huh?
Go to the other body.
The other specimen?
Yeah, the other specimen. Look for the look at the bottom right eye, on the corner of the eye, not the side of the head. See, we try to humanize everything, guys, and not everything is going to be human. So let's not try and humanize these tridactyls. Let's try and look for certain parts of the bodies, and certain parts of it is not going to be located where our parts are going to be at.
Right. So what we were trying to locate the actual auditory canal, right?
We're hoping that these beings are like our ancient ancestors, or a part of our DNA or something like that. So it's like the missing link, and hoping and it being a real thing is two different things. So maybe they're just a completely separate being from humanity.
See all this soft tissue forms that appears all within the skull?
On the ear?
The ear is where it's really intense. In fact, a good way for me to find it would be to reduce the intensity. And it's that bright white. But I don't know if that helps us at all. All right, you want to go back to a different specimen or what? Or shall we say good night, adieu?
Which specimen is this one?
So we are in the head of Josephina. We are in Josephina's skull. I do still have it on basically it's like a soft tissue. Well, this is just the CT scans. It's always going to show this.
Oh, we're still on Josephina?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were moving on to another specimen.
Do you want to move on to another one?
Yeah.
Request who?
You pick out one.
I mean, what about Mr. Thundercat?
I like Maria. Maria's familiar to me.
Let's go to Maria.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I hope there's not too.
Thank you, chat, for coming in and look and just chiming in.
Oh yeah, more the merrier, right? But look, I still have Josephina here, so unfortunately, I got to close the whole thing out.
Yeah, go ahead and close it out and reopen it.
So do you guys have a favorite specimen? I see he said he wanted to see Maria. What about you, Mr. Jesus? Do you have a special?
Yeah, Maria is fine. I
No,
just
but
want
do you
to.
have
I just
do you
want
have a
to.
favorite specimen as of yet?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I look at everything equally. I mean, I'm interested in all of them. I'm actually interested in the new specimens that they're about to scan, and I just want to see the new scans that are about to
Yeah,
come out.
everybody's going to get to see. There's going to be a bigger audience this time. Everyone's going to see all the DNA results at the same time, and you know,
Hopefully they don't get shut down for it from it.
if
Though.
there's any bit of doubt, of course, the skeptics will run with that. So
That's why
I've always said, if
I don't wanna be
Josephina
negative
came
about
back
it.
100% human, what does that mean? Because she still has a furcula and eggs and all the other weird stuff. So I don't know if that's necessarily the worst thing. Who are we looking at? Do you want to do X-ray? Of course, you see the different choices, right? So now
Yeah,
you know when you
I'm
do.
watching you use this, so I'm paying attention.
Good. That makes it useful at least, right?
This is Maria. All right.
Yeah. And so she may have smaller otic bones, ear bones. I was trying to get in there just a little while ago, so we can do that again. So you want to make sure you have.
She looks more human.
You know, they always suggest too to reduce. It's cool to have the whole body out, but they suggest reducing the area.
How tall is Maria?
I think they said like 5'6". Does that sound right?
Yeah. Also, is there a way to do measurements? Can you measure the ocular...
Yeah, I measured the larval head earlier.
Can we measure her eyes?
I think so. Let's see if we can even get a better look on this. Let's see. I wonder if it would be better to measure without all this noise behind it. What do you think? And still just reduce it more. That's pretty cool looking, isn't it?
The eyes are huge.
They are huge, aren't they? Isn't this fun?
The bone cavity of the eyes are massive.
Oh yeah. I only have eyes.
Is that bigger than a human? That looks
way bigger.
Well, he wants me to measure it, but I'm sure it's been measured already. But yeah, way bigger. We should probably it'd be nice to have maybe measure from the inside.
Yeah, now people
I was trying to do this on my own, and so I couldn't get this clear of a shot and measure it.
Yeah, it's getting kind of hectic.
Trying to figure out. You got it right there.
Let's go ahead and let's take a little.
No, move to the left.
Haze off the top.
All right.
Just a little off the top, sir.
Right there, right there.
That's looking good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Move to the left. Oh, right. Move to the 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 right. A little bit more. Move to the right to get the eye. To get more of the eye. Move to the right.
Mean move the whole face over?
Yeah. Move to the right. Move up.
Oh my God!
Move the nose up. Move the nose up.
I'm not your drone ship.
No, because when you have it downwards, the eye is smaller.
So what do you think?
Move the nose up.
I thought we do diagonal, like the top left corner down to the bottom right corner.
Okay, I'm wondering where does that begin though?
That's the cheek
here of the cavity,
or here?
I thought it's
here.
So I'm thinking if these are more like
to do it from the inside.
From the inside.
Yeah, we got to do it from the inside.
Oops.
Man, that cheekbone is big. Oh, there it is.
They call these the orbital bones of the eyes, right?
Orbital sockets.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like right on the edge of the inside, down to where the tear duct would be.
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
Although that doesn't look flat. Looks like in an angle.
What do you think of that?
You got to move. You got to get down lower on the corner of it.
Okay.
There you go.
I feel like we need to go inside a little bit. See, we're not even there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not even there. We're just getting an eye. We're just getting like a man. You're just cutting the head off.
Well, again, we're on Maria. You can all be doing Maria yourselves in the future. You can tell me what you see, right?
But you're the drone.
I'm the. Well, let's try from the front. Let's see if that's any easier with all this noise, right? Gosh, it's so hard to see, guys. I can see why you're having trouble doing this. The larvae are actually easier. Okay, let's try again. That came up like it's completely different, right?
Well, because you're aiming from the top of the head.
Or did it? What was the last one? Did you anyone even catch them? There it is, right there. Okay, well, I mean, that says
37.66.
20. We had 29 versus 37 here.
Oh, yeah. So the backside was 29. And this one was 37.
Weird. It doesn't stay. You don't think it's not the point in space, though. Look at that.
No, really because you're looking at it at an angle. That's why.
Well,
but you're not aiming in the inside of it.
I wonder if there's even a better setting to. Well, I mean, I just moved in a little bit more. Let's try one more time, shall we? Another angle here. Does anyone have an official number? I could look it up.
Yeah, for humans, we're looking for, if this is an adult male, which that's what Maria would be, the width should be between 40 and 45 millimeters.
Oh,
wow. Well, this is saying 29. Smaller then.
Yeah, but that wasn't, but it doesn't even look like it was measuring the skull. It looks like it was measuring like a point in space.
Yeah.
So
this isn't a 3D model, so it's not going to know where you're clicking, right?
Okay, great. Let's try a different angle then. Would that help?
You know, almost as flat as we could get, like an X-ray.
Yeah, but when I see like soft tissue shapes, I have to zoom in.
You're almost gonna need artificial intelligence to measure it itself.
Maybe.
Actually, that would be fun if we could just get a straight-on shot of Maria's skull, and then looking at those proportions, I can just send that off to ChatGPT.
But ChatGPT is going to need an actual size of the head first.
Just proportions, though. It should be able to calculate proportions.
Because the thing is that ChatGPT is just going to go by the normal human head in comparison.
Oh, maybe.
And then it won't go by the actual size of the head of Maria. So you have to get the actual size of the head of Maria. Then when ChatGPT says this is the size of this eye,
I don't know why
it has to compare by the actual size of the head. But
it might be a setting that you have to. It might be a setting on the measurements. I feel like I don't remember it being detached like this. So I don't know if that's a bad thing. So not having success with the measuring of the eye, I would have to say.
Okay.
You're going to have to play around with that and test it out on your off time. So you can see that. I like what you're doing here. I mean, nobody's ever seen this before. This is very unique. And this is the first time anybody's ever seen anybody work around the 3D models. Not models, but this is actually the 3D MRI.
Check out that soft tissue, guys. Look at those hanging out.
He's still looking for those larvas.
There's our little black guy.
He's looking for Casper the ghost.
Always. You mentioned was it Casper Bright? Is that what his name is?
Casper Site.
Casper Site. You mentioned him earlier. What were you suggesting?
You know, he's really popular and he's covered all of these topics. And so
it looks like he had some personal stuff going on.
Yeah, his brother is is close to um, not making it in this world right now. So he's having a lot of personal issues and is touch and go for his brother right now, and and he's he's decided to come back to the stream to keep his mind
Mm,
on
life.
the yeah, because he's been staying on the bedside of his brother day in and day out, and he feels like his mental status like is
Oh, that's what
yeah,
happens. Caregiver
yeah,
stress,
yeah,
caregiver
yeah. So
breakdown.
he felt like his mental status was leaving him, and he did a whole thing segment about it. So he said he's gonna come back to the stream and and focus on that. So he's going through a rough time, guys. That's all I'm gonna say. Give him some support on that. Casper Side is a really good guy. He's genuine. So, and he gave you attention, Professor Ed Casas.
He
That's really
did.
cool. Yeah, he had you on the show. Well, Joe Rogan still hasn't even reached out to you.
Yeah, it would be nice. I think I would imagine that Joe and I would get along just fine, and I
Hashtag
think
Joe Rogan.
I think we would get a lot of
There's a
stuff
plug
done.
right there. Come on, Joe
Yeah.
Rogan. You need to get this guy on your show. All right. I know you. I mean, if you go onto Joe Rogan's show, then
Well, it's
you could
also
really go
funny.
out there.
All these most of these people who have appeared on the shows, many of them, or some of them who have done people who have done stories, and people who have been on the shows. I've actually contacted most of these people ahead of time, and I had sent people information, and not one of them. Actually, that's not true. Jesse did share my parietal pineal gland post in his video, so that's pretty cool. But otherwise, no comment even, because I don't know if it fits their narrative, right?
Well, when Tridactyls and hopefully Tridactyls become mainstream,
You
because they're
see
going to be
anything
coming
here,
out.
Fat Jesus?
I think you're going to be on Jimmy Fallon and all these other shows.
I
You'll
might
be
not want
invited
all of
to New
that. I
York.
just Joe Rogan's fine. I
It,
just want Joe Rogan for
it's
the
not
chance to
about
get the
that you
story
don't
out.
want it. It's that you're going to have to do it because you're the
I don't know about
foremost guy, in North America.
yeah, I don't
You're
know
going to be
about
the
that.
guy. You're
I don't know
speaking.
about
You're speaking for North America.
that.
All those other guys that
the
are
whole
down in South
the
America,
whole
they
Quit
continent,
putting so much pressure on him. My God,
yeah,
we're
I
trying to
know,
get to
I
these
am though. I
the
am.
whole
CTAs.
I'm
continent.
trying to get them ready. I'm trying to.
I'm just
I've been
trying to
pushing
show
them.
you, frog babies, alien frog babies, my man.
Yeah, there's no. You don't believe in alien frog. Alien frog. That's good. But no, you've seen some of his drawings. He has it looks like a frog eating the other frog, and it's really cool
Yeah,
looking. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like the drawing that he has. He has that for a T-shirt. Actually, it's really cool.
I think
And
I need to do
there's a hypothesis on that too. On that's what there's a certain species of tridactyls. We're not saying that all tridactyls eat each other. We're saying that a certain species of
Well,
tridactyls do that.
this is like mirroring, ironically, things like an animal species called the flying vampire frog, if that's not terrifying sounding enough. But amphibians in a constricted environment will turn to sibling predation. So if larvae couldn't escape the body, then there could have been an entire sort of ecosystem taking place in here. For
Why
who
not?
for how long? I don't know.
Could there have been an evolution that we missed out on, or we don't want to
There could be
believe that there
cryptobiosis happening where we're looking at some sort of sea monkey, ironically,
those
where
that believe in Bigfoot?
who
You
knows
know,
if you add water to the eggs, what could happen? I mean, these creatures, again, if they're really a Genesis taxon, like I suggest, then what sort of this creepiness here? What sort of
you're
special natural
You're-
abilities do they have?
You're talking facts, man. You're talking facts. That's what I'm trying to say to everybody. You need to pay attention, and just stay away from these hoax people going around talking about stay away from this, stay from, no, you need to stick with it.
Let's just say we're a hypothetical Xeno team, okay?
Everything is
we're Team
hypothetical.
Xeno. Let's just say hypothetical. What do you
Egyptian
think?
is hypothetical. Come on. Nobody that lives today isn't like lived back then and say, okay, this is what Egyptians did. I mean, they're just all assuming this is what Egyptians did, like the
So,
pharaohs and all that stuff.
Anyway, what I'm talking about, my man, is like, let's just say we're all on the same team here, hypothetically. And if we are, what should we be doing moving forward? And this could be directed directly at me. What should we be doing moving forward to push this narrative? What do you think? We'll start with Mr. Jesus.
Knowledge is power. That's the most important thing, is providing knowledge. And what you're doing right now, not doing it is worse than doing it. So what you're doing every week, pushing and talking about it and communicating and having people get on the show and talking about and going through the motions, like our guest here that is communicating how he feels about tridactyls. This is important. People need to talk about all this stuff and communicate their truth. And that's how it's going to change.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well said. And let's give Thundercat the con.
Well, let's do a callback to Eric von Daniken, that we have a connection to the stars, and that we believe, not just believe, like we're connected to the stars, and therefore all life. And life exists throughout the cosmos. And so in order to better understand, our cousins or the other life, we need xenobiologists, cryptobiologists,
right?
And that's another type of hero that exists in the human story, because otherwise, if we just keep going at this with the lens of it has to make sense in the human context, we're going to miss out. Because, I mean, if we're going to, for example, we've seen Star Trek, if we're going to come into contact with plasma beings, well, I mean, we don't have a lot of comparison to necessarily do. So if we're all of a sudden encountering strange life forms that may be moved psychically, don't have the same biology as us, well, then our ability to understand, and maybe our science and our consciousness, needs to get to this next level so that we can find common ground, communicate, and potentially avoid conflict. Because it's stuff like this, that we're going to be encountering if we're going to the stars, if that's the direction we're going and we're looking for this. But I would say that's a theme that I'd like to see throughout this, is that this is a hero's journey, and it's not about pushing one narrative or the other. It's that this type of science must continue.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And that really it's about elevating everybody's consciousness and everyone's abilities and finding a way to participate. But I don't think it's about, for example, there's a lot of topics that there's a definitive truth, but that doesn't convince everybody. It could be scientifically proven, but then you still have tons of people that just either don't get it or don't care or disagree. Well, then we can't convince everybody. All we can do is create the message, show the forms, the framework, and then try and just move it positively.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
But I'm all for love and connection, and not one-upping people online or causing anyone distress. And that's where a lot of
that's what they're doing to you. That's what they're doing to you. What are you talking about?
I'm not going to pick it up. But that's where I think a lot of my comebacks are, you know what? you might be
Well,
right.
indirectly, they're
but
doing it.
I care about the whole story, and I want to see every aspect of it because it's of interest and I love it. And that's what
You'll
keeps
hear
me going.
Sonderberry online make sort of similar kind of positive statements, and you'll hear me say that I don't know. I feel like pigs need to be wrestled now and then.
Your day will come. Your day will come, Professor Ed Casas, when your name will be attached, and that people are gonna go after you. And I'm just trying to ready you, man. I'm just trying to ready you. I want you to be
I'm
ready.
already getting at a point where it's like I've said what I had to say, and it's like
No.
I'm
You
only
got
gonna be
a
able to
lot
say
more
two.
to say. You got a lot more to say in this world.
So I thought while you guys are here, I would go ahead and do.
You got to keep up the fight.
A Tridactyl head giveaway, and then maybe wrap up the show for the night.
Oh, hey, I just wanted to mention real quick here, if you minus that out real quick about Rick von Daniken, the picture that's right there with Eric, that's not from my father. My father had a color camera. These are 35 millimeter cameras back then, not your digital camera. And my father, he would show me how he makes all these color the photos and everything like that. He had his own black room and all that stuff, but he had all the photos. Cool. Yeah, he had all the originals. And this photo was not his. Rick von Daniken had his own camera, but his camera did not focus as well. And he hired my father. My father worked for National Geographic. And then he hired my father off of that. And my father just traveled with him. And every time my father traveled with Eric von Daniken, Eric would show my father something unique and amazing in this world that my father never saw. And then he just became a follower, and he just stayed with Eric throughout his journey throughout Central America and South America, and he just became one of his followers. And
that's
it
cool
was just
it
was
a
intense.
personal connection.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to roll several D100s here and see if we have some winners. And let's see, a 92. I rolled three numbers because I knew people. 92 is already won. You don't win again. Sorry.
Let's see.
Let's see who else we have here. 22 is the next number. 22 is already won, and 54. 54. Sal.
Who wants to win a Tridactyl head?
Sal, congratulations. If you are watching or if you see this in repeat, feel free to. This is what you win. But I have to confess, I feel like I didn't do one last week because we had Stig on. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and do another roll and see if we get another winner. Honestly, I don't know Sal either, so hopefully it'll be
Thundercat. Do you have a website or YouTube channel or something like that people could follow you on?
No, I'm hidden.
You're
71,
hidden?
9, and 26.
I'm hidden. I'm hiding.
Oh,
I am on X though. I'm on X, and I think that's
as Thundercat
and Milky Milkwater. Which
well, you could plug your X in here if you want, so people can follow you on X. You're more than welcome.
Maybe in the future. I've got some stories that I'm working on related to the Tridactyls, and I'm hoping to publish those.
I mean, if you want people to hit that follow button for you in x.com, just go ahead and mention it here, and we'll be happy to advertise you, man. And we really appreciate you coming in on as a guest, because that was really important for us to have you here.
There's a lot of people that want to hear and talk about the Tridactyls, and this is offering that time and that space because it's a void out there.
Yeah, so definitely I'll plug for myself, right? So Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm trying to take over that In Search Of. And it's interesting, if it wasn't for von Daniken's Chariot of the Gods, they wouldn't have made In Search of Ancient Aliens that was narrated by Rod Sterling, and they wouldn't have made their In Search of television show, and I wouldn't have seen the Patterson film, and I wouldn't have wanted to be an anthropologist, and I wouldn't be here today. So there's a bit of providence involved, I think, along the way. Thank you, Fat Jesus. Thank you, Thundercat. I will see you guys online. Also, don't forget Wednesdays at 1 p.m. I'm on X for Spaces as well. What do you got here? I can't
Arrival
see
of the
because it's not-
Gods.
It's can I
This
reverse
is
your
Rick
camera?
Von.
Let's see.
I don't know why my
Look at
camera's-
you, nice. Look at that book,
Uh,
very cool,
then-
hardcover. Oh
and then-
yeah, Terry's book. Oh, you're backwards on my camera too. Here we go.
Yeah, I
So-
mean,
it says Idaho. I was thinking it said Otai the whole time.
there's his signature.
Oh, how very cool. Good for you, my man.
That is, and then we have the Stones.
Look at that.
Stone. And then here's
You're like a super fan.
Here's articles from when he was here in the United States. And also when I went to visit him, he signed the book as well. So it's a lot of stuff. I showed him the article as well. And then
Very nice.
you got the newest book, Chariots of the Gods.
Oh,
So I
That's the
didn't
new
have
edition, huh?
the old one is very difficult to get. The
I
Gold
know. I
of the
see the
Gods.
old one and I just like know it. Like when I see it, I'm just like, I held that.
Oh, I have your book here. I forgot to take that with me. In search of this one's signed as well. This is yours, by the way, Ed Casas.
It's an amazing collection.
You're
Yeah.
crazy.
And
Thank
then this
you.
one, oh no, I got more.
What? Okay, Fat Jesus is going to do a book giveaway here.
The
Coming soon.
Gods and the Grand Design. This is one of his newest ones. And then this is one of the older ones. Return to the Stars, Evidence for the Impossible.
I guess I'll have to write my constant companion theory, huh? I'm getting jealous of all these Von Däniken
And then,
books.
he signed all the books because he remembered my dad. So he sat there and people were angry in the line too. They were looking at me and I'm just standing there and said, so for every signature someone gets, he'll sign one of the books. Okay. And so he signed, and then he signed someone else's, and people say, "Get in the back of the line," and said, "It's okay, sir. Calm down, calm down." And Eric was like, "No worry, he's a friend of the family." And then I'm like, "Oh man, it felt like royalty, just being there with Eric." And
Awesome.
I was starstruck. I had a smile on my face the whole time. I looked like I think I was weird the whole time. I was in tears.
Hold on. I just got a secret message from somebody. This is a good video on the little heads.
Yeah.
Tell me if you can hear it. Do you guys have volume?
I don't
look
hear
at Mystic Places Magical.
You don't hear
Mystery
it?
Tour.
it.
No,
Okay,
I don't hear it.
So I sent you this I sent you this link secretly, right? But Jonathan, he's actually in some of the documentaries in the background. He's a boots on the ground archaeologist looking into the Tridactyls. I think it'd be amazing to get in contact with him.
Yeah, that'd be
we
great.
already tried working together, and he laughed at my reptilian hashtag cross hatching. He said there was no evidence of that. And then the skin patterns came out with the cross hatching. So yeah, we don't work together or his other. He was working with some other guy. That was my first attempt at an alliance. But you guys could not hear the volume by any chance?
Mm-mm.
No, you would have to attach it. You would have to attach a on your OBS. You have to
speaker,
attach an
yeah,
audio. Yeah, you have to put a special. It says beta on it. If you right click on adding audio, there's a beta audio thing that they have in OBS, and you attach it, and then it goes to the right side of it, and then all of a sudden you just right click, and then
it's a nice art here
to that audio. Yeah, that's really
great,
nice.
It's great art, but on top of that, even without audio, the close-ups of the heads,
you're right.
That's going to get us there.
Go back to the eyes.
So
that's
these
what
are
I'm saying. You can.
He got access to hold these.
You can see the larva. I suggest even coming out of these bodies.
Why
what
do these
Jonathan
look so
made note
different?
of was the ducts. So he got up close to the eyes on these smaller ones, and you can kind of see they don't have human ducts. They have ducts on almost both sides, and maybe even up top, where it could be some type of venomous gland or something like that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, absolutely. Those scoots even could possibly be related to something like that.
I would say look at the
What?
eye ducts.
Yeah, but I just want to show you guys something real quick here. If just screenshotting.
Professor Ed Gassas and I, we were talking about how they may have
Look,
six senses,
see
not
this?
like us where we have a few senses.
This is what I'm saying. The larval heads are peeking through the bodies. They're just covered in the diatomaceous earth. You know, those bodies should probably be a bit smoother. You see this? Is it too dark?
So that's like a larval head coming through the skin and breathing.
Probably dead.
Well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, anything coming through the skin, I always think of like human bot flies or parasites like that, because that's what they do.
Maybe, but if they got to the diatomaceous earth and the cadmium chloride, it probably stopped them in their tracks.
Now, I mentioned to Professor Ed Gassas, Egyptians would bury in one of the tombs, they would bury with the beetles. You know how they would have beetles in the inside of the bodies, the horned beetles or whatever they call them.
We don't talk about the metal implants on the little ones enough.
Yeah. Again, I see larval form right here. If you remember, we just did our little lesson on the two black eyes.
But isn't that the metal?
Well,
we're pointing at the metal plate.
Yeah. But okay, let me do a quick screenshot of what I'm looking at. Those metal plates can be compromised. I suggest that Sebastian's plate, which people suggest is writing, is actually burrowing marks. So that metal can be compromised, which makes me wonder if like certain marble artifacts, marble sarcophagi may have had a deeper purpose, because that would stop them. Okay, so let's see. I mean, we're in the metal, but metal can be compromised. And there we have it. Classic larval position. Our two eyes. You can see the very slight nose. Let me add some light to it because it's dark. I mean, again, I understand if you can't see it, of course. But I have gotten, I believe, good enough that I can spot these little buggers from a distance. And I just think if you don't know to look for them, why would you think they were there?
I mean, can you do the same thing on the human body and start zooming in on the human body and find faces like that?
Why would you?
I mean, that's the question you have to ask yourself.
Why would I look? That's again, you're asking me to look to make sure that there aren't, as a test, that there isn't larval forms. I mean, in
comparison to what we're looking at. So
tell you what, if I ran into somebody at the grocery store, Fat Jesus, that had some larvae coming out of them, I think I'd go the opposite direction.
But I mean, you know, it's just I see what
there's
you're
more
at.
in there. Again, I know you have photographs of these, and if you can either send me even close-ups of those, I would love to. You mentioned about us visiting them. If we were to visit them, I would want to invest in some sort of either magnifying lens on a camera or an electric microscope and pull these up in perfect and put an end to this talk so I can move on with my life.
Well,
but otherwise, until people accept this, I'm going to keep hunting for the best larva that I can find. And again, I'll say it again.
I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. You're going to hunt this in the MRI now and look for the rest of the body underneath it.
All of these here. Look at. Do you see these in between the metal? You see the subtleties that you have to look for? There are little frogs, if you will, sticking out of this metal. But this one's good. This one's already out, it looks like. I'm telling you. All right, let's keep looking through some of this.
That's an interesting.
Of course, you have to play it. It's the back of the head.
No kidding. That's how small the head is. Oh, you don't have yeah.
Look at that, huh? I guess our heads aren't too far, huh?
I didn't know they had metal on the top of the head.
Yeah, for what purpose?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another thing is for
Well, I
what
tell you what the
purpose
purpose is.
indeed.
I say it's part of the whole larva management. I have an entire larva management theory. This is what the implants are for. This is what the diatomaceous earth and cadmium chloride is for. It's to stop these things from getting out. I don't think it might not even been to preserve the bodies necessarily. So we say that it was put on the bodies to deflect pests. I say it was to contain pests, which is why we do see them in the surface, because they stop there.
I still think it'd be interesting to see if we can get a hold of Jonathan and just see what his take is.
Oh yeah,
on some of
definitely.
the same news coverage and what his
I'm okay with all of that. That was the backstory. Unfortunately, I didn't like him poo-pooing.
Here's something.
And later to find the skin, it was like, look at this.
Here's something hypothetical. Hypothetically,
wait, yeah. Look.
Humans.
See, it's compromised.
There are surgeries that are done on humans where they have to drill into the head and the skull to release pressure.
Yeah. Trepanation.
And there are veterans that have gone through war. They have metal implants on their skulls to protect their brain. The stainless steel.
Is this something maybe they would perforate it to release them if they wanted? What a strange design.
Maybe they're covering a surgical area where they released what you have hypothetically theorized.
That's exactly it. That's what I say. The metal implants are to not just they're to repair. They're to ensure the breastplates are to ensure that when the furcula does go, that they can still be a forelimb first, because if that furcula breaks, they're screwed. Those arms are useless. So I think the implants may be helping keep the body together in lieu of that.
So Jonathan talks about how kind of squared off this entry point is.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if he was able to put a camera inside, but he did shine a light in there, and on the audio, he's talking about just the details he's noticing, texture, the weight in his hands.
Why is it square?
I don't know. It's also
it's not really square. It's actually almost triangulish.
Like a what is the term?
Like a vertebrae ish.
Boy, very nice close-ups, huh? Especially for someone like me who is searching for theoretical larval heads. Look at these, huh? Nice ceramics and with a motif of loose heads.
I mean, it's not a perfect square,
No, it's not.
No, it's like it's not from a piece of metal that was made, or like a rebar that was where the head was put on top. And
it does look like, if I had to guess, it looked like someone cut into that, right?
So this one came as is. So they didn't remove this from a body. This was one of the loose heads, just like there was a loose hand and the rest.
No kidding.
Okay.
So we're at a point where I think that the majority of the content of the Tridactyls actually is not on the internet, right?
Oh.
And so I'm all over the place trying to find videos, saving them. But we've got a lot
the hell's
more
that?
people. Yeah. So
what the hell's that? Guys, come on. What are we looking at? Bro, what the?
Whoa.
Let's go back. What the hell is that?
Was that a larva?
I think so.
No, that's the wow. Look at that cavity area.
Yeah, screenshot that, right?
No, that's not. I don't think that's the larva, bro. I think that's the cranium.
I don't know what it is, but
If I'm looking at this with Ed in mind, I see two eyes, a mouth is open and a tongue is coming out, and then the body is serpentining behind it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there might be, again, there's usually confusion because there's multiple. But again, I thought I could see dried larval forms very similar to that in the hands when they were showing
This
the
is
hand
really
videos
good
also.
video. It's really good video.
The hand video, I think, too, has them. Look at that. What is that on the right there? Look at that coming out right here. Oy vey. Right over the pause sign. See that? Double black dots, double black dots.
It's blurrish. I'm
You
looking
see
at
the little black dots, though?
I'm
paired
looking at
black
the
dots.
4K area.
Do you see the black paired dots?
Yeah,
Anyone?
but it's blurry there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely blurry.
I'm looking in the areas where it's 4K.
Oh, well, okay. You're going to miss stuff. Right here. See this? See this? You see these shapes here? So I don't know what you can do to help me out, Mr. Todd, or tell other people about this, or get me some, say, hey, this guy's crazy. Can you get some close-ups?
Here's another angle. Here's another angle of that one area that you just took a screenshot from.
Yeah, and there's very strange shapes everywhere, especially after looking at the scans.
That looks like two eyes and a mouth.
It could be a much different experience being face to face with this with some magnification tools.
Yeah, let's do it. Make it happen. Make it happen. And if I can, I'll get other people involved of caliber. But otherwise, we'll just have to figure it out ourselves, you know? But that's like, to me, the most important thing. I know it's probably not the most important thing to everybody, but I think, again, the larva will demonstrate a very strange connection between the small ones and the large ones. And it'll just further my amphibian.
Well, my camera, I have a Sony, a professional camera. What he's using is a camera, and then he has a special LED light that extends like a scorpion tail right on top of that. So it scorpions over, and there's actually one where there's two scorpion tail lights, and then the lens is for that specifically. And that's what he's using right now to see that. And that's great. That's fantastic.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you for sharing this. I'm not familiar with this video, maybe because I don't really watch this stuff. But this is great. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think he reposted it because I watched this like a couple years ago. So, but yeah, he's got more videos like this. And this, I want to say, came out around the same time as the Gaia Nazca Unearthed.
Huh. Wow, good stuff. I'll have to watch that again. Very nice. I love these little buggers, huh?
Yeah, and then to see, you know, what his pulse is like on the Tridactyls.
Yeah.
Very nice.
For sure.
Make sure you send me the link, please.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to call it a night. It's beyond my time here. I must leave you. So thank you again for coming. Now it's with you guys both on. It helps just keep the conversation going. I think we definitely explored a lot of cool things. We looked at a lot of stuff. Maybe even too, I convinced a few people about some larval heads out there. We'll have to see.
I'm sorry for being so negative today. I guess I was the.
When were you negative?
Oh no!
Oh you were talking about like conquistador genocide.
I was on the fence today, man. I came in with double barrels.
That's all right. All right, guys, live long and prosper. I hope to see you all again. Here's a little song to see us out, and it's over.
Don't. Smurf song.
What's that?
It's not a Smurf song, is it? Oh no, it's the Tridactyl song. I love your Tridactyl song. That's really cool.
Well,